Tulum is not just about stunning beaches, cool parties, and historic ruins, but it's also a hotspot for some of the best culinary experiences. So if you're anything like me, then exploring a destination's culinary scene is undoubtedly one of the highlights of your trip. And let's all agree that there's nothing worse than spending money on a meal that was, well, underwhelming. In today's video, I'm sharing with you the best restaurants that I visited on my 2-week trip here in beautiful Tulum. And if you're new here, my name is Jasmine Holder. I explore cities, uncover their secrets, and share everything with you guys here, minus the usual touristy fluff. So if that sounds like your type of adventure, do consider subscribing. Let's kick things off with a very popular restaurant called ARCA. Situated in the jungle side of Tulum's beach road, I'd describe the vibe as rustic, yet elegant, with an open air design that makes you feel like you're sitting in the jungle. ARCA also burns copal, which helps repel mosquitoes, but pro tip, I would just recommend wearing bug repellent anyways. ARCA features an amazing cocktail bar, and it's not for nothing that it was ranked 37 in North America's best 50 bars in 2022. Celebrated for its contemporary Mexican cuisine with a strong emphasis on locally sourced and seasonal ingredients, ARCA's menu is known to change frequently, reflecting the availability of fresh produce that they have. Kind of like these soft shell crab tacos, which were highly recommended to us by our waiter. And they even said that this was the chef's specialty. But here's what I thought about them.
Okay, so backstory, I don't like soft shell crab, but I'm going to give it another chance. I think it's the thought that I'm eating a shell is what freaks me out, but it's good.
Given ARCA's popularity, I highly recommend making a reservation. And if you plan on visiting any of Tulum's amazing restaurants that are on the beach road, be sure to give yourself an extra 10 minutes just for unexpected traffic. And if you rented a car, there are parking lots that you can pay to park at. They range from 200 to 300 pesos. All in all, this meal, we spent about 4,700 pesos for 2 people, which was about 278 US dollars. Next, we have a female-owned restaurant by the name of Wild. Located towards the very end of Tulum's busy beach road, this restaurant feels more tucked away, more quiet, and definitely more private. You can expect a more international cuisine with that Mexican twist. We really enjoyed all the food that we ordered at Wild. However, there was one dish in particular that really took my breath away.
This ravioli is probably some of the best ravioli I've ever had. The way I could describe it is like a white truffle, creamy, buttery flavor, and the texture is so good.
If you love truffle as much as I do, then you are going to love that ravioli. Are you the type of person who, when you travel to a new destination, do you like to do a lot of research, have a planned schedule, itinerary, or are you the type of person who likes to go with the flow? Maybe you're walking down the road and you just happen to stumble across a restaurant and then you try it. I'm just curious, so let me know in the comments below. All in all, at Wild, we spent about 3,500 Mexican pesos for 2 people, which was about $206. This next restaurant was easily one of my favorites. This is Kitchen Table. The ambiance of this restaurant was so cool with the candlelight flickering against the jungle backdrop and the fact that every table has a perfect view looking into the big open kitchen, watching the staff prepare the food. It was just really lovely. We did have to pay a deposit to make a reservation at this spot, so be sure to just make a reservation on your trip just in case you need to do the same thing. The menu reflects their reinterpretation of traditional recipes using fresh and local ingredients, and they did have a pick your own lobster choice on the menu, which I thought was really cool. We saw others in the restaurant going up to the cooler, picking out their lobsters and handing it over to the kitchen to be prepared, which was a really nice touch because it just kind of gives the customer an experience where they feel like they're a little bit involved, and of course being able to see into the kitchen as it's prepared. As we were researching this restaurant, we saw that
Someone on Google said that this was the best sourdough they've ever had in their entire life. So let's see. I definitely get it. It is really good. What do you think about the bread? Did it live up to the hype? The guy said it was the best he's ever had.
It's up there.
It's up there?
It was amazing.
It was really good.
It was one of the best sourdough.
The best way I can describe that jungle bread was that it was crispy on the outside and the soft inside with a really subtle smoky flavor to it. It was delicious. We also got the catch of the day along with the slow cooked beef brisket. Both of these dishes were so simple and flavorful, and they came with these little handmade tortillas where you can kind of make your own little taco.
This is definitely one of the best restaurants that we've had or been to so far in Tulum. Kitchen table, 10 out of 10. The food was so incredibly flavorful on its own to the point where it didn't need a bunch of salt, sauces, or anything to add to the flavor. The food itself was flavorful, and I think that comes down to the way that it was cooked. And in the kitchen, they have this big charcoal oven that I think is producing a lot of the flavors coming straight from the way that it's cooked. So if you are planning a trip to Tulum, I highly recommend this restaurant because it was amazing.
We ended dinner with this little salted caramel dessert. They also gave us these little cacao and alcohol shots as finishers. All in all, we spent about 3,088 Mexican pesos, which was roughly 180 US dollars. This was again by far one of my favorite restaurants. I highly recommend. You may have heard of this next spot as it is a well-regarded restaurant that has been in Tulum for a very long time. This is HARTWOOD. Led by a husband and wife duo, the kitchen is completely solar powered and everything is cooked in their wood burning oven. HARTWOOD proudly has a zero carbon footprint, going as far as even using sustainable fishing methods to ensure a healthy aquatic environment. Throughout the week, HARTWOOD travels to the interior of the Yucatan markets and farms, collecting ingredients, so their menu does change every single day. All the seafood that we ordered was so fresh and tasted so clean, but there was one dish in particular that I was really surprised by that I loved the most, and that was gonna be this steak. And it was served with this plantain butter that was just such a unique and tasty flavor. I've never had it before, so we really enjoyed that. We also ordered the honeycomb dessert with a little bit of ice cream. All in all, we spent about 5,000 Mexican pesos, which was about 345 US dollars for 3 people. HARTWOOD definitely lived up to its reputation. This is the first restaurant that is not on Tulum's busy beach road. Located actually in Tulum city center, this is Tu, a cozy little restaurant that really got our attention with the super flavorful food that they had to offer. Unfortunately, I did not find much information about this restaurant online or even on their website. However, I would describe it as like a Mexican gastropub. And brownie points to Tu because they had a really awesome non-alcoholic drink menu, which I've noticed a lot of restaurants don't have out here. We got this seared tuna, which was my favorite, and Ryan really enjoyed this salmon risotto. All in all, our dinner totaled to about 2,000 Mexican pesos, which was $116 for 2 people.
Little piece of advice, if you're ever driving anywhere that's on the main beach in Tulum, seriously leave like 15 minutes early because you're gonna get stuck in this. Just make sure you leave early enough so you're not late to any of your reservations. So we'll see you at Casa Banana.
Up next is another very popular restaurant that you've probably seen of or heard of before. This is Casa Banana, an Argentinian steakhouse that is blending rich Latin American cuisine with the natural beauty and relaxed atmosphere of Tulum. Casa Banana's kitchen features this big, open, traditional Argentinian grill, which they use to create a lot of the flavors in their meats. And if you plan on enjoying some cocktails on your trip here in Mexico, I highly recommend drinks with mezcal and tequila because celebrating the spirit of Mexico while you're in Mexico just makes sense to me. We really enjoyed everything that we ordered. In particular, the steak that we ordered had this really nice smoky flavor to it. And of course, we wanted to finish with dessert. So we ordered the apple crumble and we got this, which kind of made us laugh because we were definitely expecting something more like an apple pie, apple tart, apple crumble, but it was tasty and I guess it was healthy as well. All in all, we spent about 4,000 Mexican pesos, which was roughly 233 US dollars for 2 people. Last on the list, but certainly not least, we have KOKORO, which is located in Aldeazama. Now listen, you guys, I tried a handful of different restaurants and cafes in Aldeazama, and I was so incredibly disappointed by all of them, not to mention how overpriced everything is. But KOKORO was kind of our saving grace in the area because it was the only restaurant that we really enjoyed. It's located inside of a boutique hotel called Hotel Kopal, and this hidden gem is actually on the rooftop of the restaurant. So once you find it, you'll be really glad that you did because the food is amazing. Maybe you're like me, and while on your trip, you want to break from all the delicious Latin American cuisine that Tulum has to offer. KOKORO is serving up some amazing Japanese dishes, and it was just overall a really refreshing meal. I highly recommend it on your trip, especially if you're staying in Aldeazama. All in all, we spent about 2,000 Mexican pesos, which was roughly $116 for 2 people. That concludes the roundup of the best dining experiences I had on my trip in Tulum. However, I'm not done because there were a few other establishments that were really delicious, noteworthy. They may not have made my official list, but I do believe that they deserve an honorable mention. So stick around because I have a couple more recommendations for you. If you're craving something sweet after dinner and you find yourself in the city center of Tulum looking for some desserts, then you have to check out this little spot we found.
Okay, so we decided to stop by and get some churros from this spot, La Lupita, which is just on the side of the road in the city of Tulum. I already took one bite, and I will definitely say that these are some of the best churros I've ever had. They're so crispy and like super soft on the inside. We got con leche and chocolate. So good.
Following the theme of needing a break from all the delicious Latin American cuisine, this Thai restaurant quickly became our favorite lunch spot. We literally ate here like 4 times on our trip, and it is just refreshing to have a little bit more diversity in your cuisine. So highly recommend it. The flavors were amazing, very simple, clean, and affordable food located in Tulum's city center. You can't visit Mexico and not visit some taquerias. This first one is La Taqueria Chiapaneca, which is a little spot. We got 6 tacos, guac, chips. It was all $13 US. Super affordable, very authentic, very tasty. The next spot is La Negra Tomasa, which is another more lively spot. They did have live music. The drinks are really good. They have a really seafood forward menu, but everything was delicious, and you can't beat the affordable tacos. Last but not least, this is just a little bonus restaurant. This is not located in Tulum. This is actually La Buena Vida, which is located in Acclaimed Beach. If you're staying in Tulum, let's say you have a rental car and you want to do a little day trip, I would highly recommend going checking out Acclaimed Beach. It's only a 30-minute drive. It's very easy to get there. This restaurant on Google Maps has the best reviews compared to a lot of the other restaurants out there. We got some blackened shrimp tacos. Ryan got some fish tacos. Everything was so good. And the cool thing about this location of this restaurant is after you're done eating, you can literally just step right off the restaurant onto the beach. We laid out in the sand, did a little reading, did a little sun tanning. It was lovely. That officially concludes my total roundup of all of the best restaurants that I ate at in Tulum, from fancy dinners to more authentic taquerias. I hope this video has inspired you to want to visit Tulum and explore the amazing, diverse culinary scene that they have to offer. But before you go, I would love to hear from you. So please let me know in the comments below. Is there a particular restaurant that piqued your interest that you now want to try? Or maybe you've been to Tulum and you have a favorite restaurant that I didn't mention. Please let me know in the comments below. Like always, if you got value from this video, please consider subscribing to my channel as it helps me out so much. And now for the real reason why I came to Tulum. We're going to Zamna!